We pay homage to the Blessed One, Supremely Enlightened Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We pay homage to our teacher, Lokuswami Nans. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yeah, this is about
So
all
we want to.
internal. But
Bante.
when the internal is, when we say, when the inside is impure,
Mhm.
it can, that impurity can harm many, many people in the world. So it starts inside. When the inside is pure, it can bring happiness to many, many people. So all start inside. Inside where? Inside one's mind. Mano pubbangama dhamma, right? Mind is the chief. Mind is the forerunner of all actions. All actions are made by the mind, guided by the mind, right? So Buddha teaches impure mind can bring harm to oneself and to many people. Pure mind can bring happiness to oneself and many people. So it's not, you cannot say like it's only about uh, internal. It's interconnected. When one's mind is purified, it can do lots of external good things. Externally affected. In the same way, when the mind is pure, many external people will benefit from it, right? But here, first we are going to learn about this first Anāgatabhaya sutta, Pratama Anāgatabhaya sutta. And we also should understand the danger of the defilements of the mind. And you know, when somebody acts with these defilements, we should not forget about the karma arrangement, and then there are consequences. So the lesson here is we tend to talk about external things, what we see, what we hear. But if we don't make an effort to purify ourselves, what any evil done by today by somebody else, the same thing can be done by us in the future. That is the lesson here we should learn. If we see the danger of those evil actions, any evil actions done by somebody else, then we should think, I am no difference. I have the same defilements, the same root defilements in my mind. So if somebody did evil things with those defilements, root causes of suffering, if I have not eliminated them, abandoned them, so what is the guarantee? To say that only that person does those evil, not you. Well, who gives you the guarantee? Where is the guarantee? That's where we should focus on. But that is the lesson many people forget, never learn. And also, any evil you see today done by somebody else, can you say that you haven't done that in the past? No. Buddha teaches this journey is so long. We have spent all sorts of lives. We have lived all those lives. What we see today. We have lived the lives of a hell being. We have lived the life of an animal. We have lived the life of a ghost. And in other discourses, Buddha says you have lived the life of a serial killer, a terrorist, murderer. So, have we escaped from that journey? We haven't. Okay, so please think about it. It's not about talking countries or people or rulers. It's talking about what we see outside is one of our own stories, one of our own past lives. That's what Buddha taught us. Isn't that what Buddha taught us?
Okay, how should we reflect on when we're seeing things like that in the world? So even though we may have past lives that we were like those people.
What we should reflect on is the danger of the defilements. And one should make make an effort to get rid of those defilements as soon as possible and to enter the path that would help somebody to purify the mind. That's the focus should be. So we talk about those things with when we go along, but we start with this sutta. Can everybody read together?
Mendicants, seeing the future perils is quite enough for wilderness mendicant to meditate keenly and resolutely for attaining the achieving the unachieved, and realizing the unrealized. What five? Firstly, wilderness mendicant reflects. Currently, I'm living alone in a wilderness. While living here alone, I might get bitten by a snake, a scorpion, or a centipede.
And if I died from that, it would be an obstacle to my progress.
I would better rouse up energy for attaining the unattained, achieving the unachieved, and realizing the unrealized. This is the first future peril.
Right? So a monk living in a forest, he thinks, death is not that far. It can come to me anytime, right? There's so many reasons for my death, right? I might get bitten by a snake, scorpion, centipede. So before that happens, I need to follow precepts well. I need to practice meditation. I need to attain the stages of enlightenment because life is very short, brief. Is that the truth? That's the truth. That's the first future peril. And that reflection helps the practitioner to arouse energy, to be diligent. One of the reasons for the negligence means doing evil, not following precepts, being very greedy, conflicts. That's because of negligence, right? One of the reasons is that people think we are not going to die, or we are not going to die soon. So people want to be greedy. But here we learn about the truth. When you reflect on the impermanence of life, it helps you to focus on the path. second future peril.
Furthermore, a wilderness medical request. Currently, I'm living alone in a wilderness. While living here alone, I might stumble off a cliff, or get food poisoning, or suffer a disturbance of heart, blood, or piercing winds. And if I died from that, it will be an obstacle to my crops. I would better rouse out energy for attaining the undertaking, achieving the undertaking, and realizing the ideals. This is the second.
So not only a monk living in wilderness, everybody can think like this, right? I might stumble off and die, or get food poisoning, or suffer disturbance of bile, phlegm, or piercing winds. That means you some kind of sickness. Suddenly, you get sick and die, right? So then before that happens, I should arouse energy. I should amend my precepts, focus on meditation, mindfulness, cleansing the mind, making merit, cultivating wholesome qualities, realizing the stages of enlightenment. That's the main focus. Does that make very good sense? Very wise, right? And you can add like present perils, like we might die anytime due to a flight crash, right? Accident, natural disaster, so many reasons that would contribute to the end of our life. And when we think like that, we don't get depressed. You get depressed if you don't have a solution, if you don't have a path to follow. That's the difference. When you think, oh, there are so many reasons for my death, so I might die anytime, and you stop there, you don't know what to do, then you get depressed. You get scared. And you think, oh, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. I don't want to leave these people, I don't want to leave my property, right? Yeah, fear. It creates fear. That's unwise consideration. But here, you are contemplating on the truth, and then you know what to do. There is a purpose of that contemplation. Because Buddha explains about the purpose. And that leads to clarity, that leads to kindness, compassion, wisdom, that leads to accumulation of more wholesome qualities. So you become a happier person because these reflections help you to remove negativities from your life, from your mind. These reflections help you to always live with a mind of wholesome qualities and achieving progress in the Dhamma path. So these reflections make you happier. If death approaches you suddenly, you are not remorseful. You think you spend the life wisely. So it's very, very beneficial reflection. Third future peril.
Furthermore, a wilderness medical request. Currently, I'm living alone in a wilderness. While living here alone, I might encounter wild beasts, a lion, tiger, leopard, a bear, or a hyena, which might take my life. And if I die from that, it would be an obstacle to my progress. I would better rouse up energy for attaining the unattained, achieving the unachieved, and realizing the unrealized.
This is the third future peril. See that? The practitioner doesn't use that as a sign of like to get scared, right? The practitioner uses this future danger, in order to intensify the practice and understanding how rare the human life is. So it will end soon, or should use it for growth of wholesome qualities. And that is how a wise person reflects on the third future peril, right? And next one.
Furthermore, a wilderness medical reflects.
Currently, I am living alone in the wilderness. While living here alone, I might encounter youth escaping a crime on their way to commit one, and they might make my life. And if I died from that, it would be an obstacle to my progress. And it will arouse up energy for attaining the unattainable, achieving the unachieved, and realizing the unknown. This is the fourth future peril. That's also very powerful, right? Somebody will shoot us, stab us, take our life. Anywhere. Isn't that possible? Anywhere we go. There's no place we can hide. So if that is the case, should we get angry at those people who are going to kill us? Isn't that the lesson? No. We understand this can happen anytime. So I should follow the Dhamma path diligently. That is the lesson. Because I cannot avoid these things. It can happen anytime. And if we think, no, I am not going to let anybody to take my life, so then you cannot go outside, you cannot do anything, you have to hide underground and stay there forever. Not practical. Understanding the truth is completely, it's like going against the current, swimming against the current, the stream. And you also can understand that this reflection leads to detachment. You are ready to let go of everything. So when the time comes, it's not a shock because you have been contemplating on the truth for a long time. So that's another reflection. The fifth future peril, Buddha explains. Please,
a wilderness medical reflects.
Currently, I am alone in a wilderness. But in a wilderness, there are savage monsters who might take my life. And if I died from that, it would be an obstacle to my progress. I'd better rouse up energy for attaining the reality, achieving the unachieved, and realizing the unknown. This is the fifth future peril. Oh, so that's a new one, right? Savage monsters. That's the translation. So the non-humans attack. That's also possible. So not necessarily in a forest. That non-human attack can take place anywhere. So this, even though it was taught, these reflections were taught to forest monks, everybody can apply these teachings, right? Did you know that non-humans can take your life? Buddha saw that. Why people don't know when somebody dies? People don't know what happened. So they might say he died due to a heart attack. That's how we conclude it. But it can be due to a non-human attack.
What are the non-human attacks? Are they asura?
So many non-humans. Yakas, demons. There are different names. Not only asuras, but Gandhabas or Kumbandas, Nagas. There are so many different names, types.
Is it because of our past karma?
Nothing to do with karma. It's the nature. This is the nature. Nature of the existence.
But if we keep our precepts strongly, maybe they won't bother us.
There are some, but that's a different topic. Buddha has taught ways to avoid those attacks, but in this case, we reflect on a different angle, right? Non-humans can take our life anytime.
Something often.
Huh?
Often.
Yes, that's a different purpose, but this is for a different reflection. So Buddha teaches here, these are the 5 future perils, seeing which is quite enough for a wilderness mendicant to meditate diligently, keenly and resolutely for attaining the unattained, achieving the unachieved, and realizing the unrealized. What's the first one? Contemplating on the attacks from a snake, scorpion, centipede. I might die anytime. And then I might stumble off a cliff or get food poisoning or suffer disturbance of bile, phlegm, or piercing means. So that means due to a sickness, I might die. Or due to an attack of a wild beast, right? Lion, tiger, leopard, bear, or hyena, I might die. Or due to an attack, somebody shooting, stabbing, taking your life, right? And then due to the non-human attacks. So you need to reflect on these things one by one. So if suddenly if I'm going to die, I'm going to lose all these opportunities here as a human being. Now I have these lots of opportunities to follow this spiritual path introduced by an enlightened one after a very, very long time in the world, right? I have learned about the Noble Eightfold Path. I have learned about the Four Noble Truths, and this is the great opportunity for me to follow this path. So I'm going to lose this if my human life is ended. So before that happens, I need to use this path like the maximum I can use.
Take this mendicant is rather than using fear or having fear, he or she turns his opportunity into that fear to learn to have more
practice. So he's not miserable, he's not sad, he's not depressed. He's energetic. Working hard towards the path. And most importantly, with wholesome qualities. When you are diligent, keen, and resolute to achieve wholesome qualities, that means you live a happy life. The secret of happy life is wholesome qualities in the mind, living with wholesome qualities. The secret of miserable life is living with unwholesome qualities, living with greedy thoughts, angry thoughts, remorseful thoughts, harming thoughts, cruel thoughts. Secret of a miserable life. So this reflection completely leads towards accumulation of wholesome qualities. That's why those monks were able to live happier than the ordinary people, the monks who took the Dhamma path seriously in the past. Some kings saw these monks meditating under trees, practicing these reflections, and approached them, asked, "You don't have any entertainment in this forest. You don't have the sweet music here, nothing, no shows, no musical instruments here, no sense pleasures at all here in this forest. But you look very happy. Your face is serene, calm. I don't understand." Because ordinary people think they need sense pleasures to make themselves happy. You don't have any of those, but still you look very happy and satisfied. See? It is in one of the discourses. One of the kings who lived at that time, when those monks in a question. And then those monks said, the king, the secret? The secret is that we don't regret over the past. We don't long for future. We are happy with what is available at present, and we are focused on cleansing the minds. That's why we are happy, right? So these are powerful reflections. We go to the second discourse on future perils. So Buddha teaches here again amazing reflections. These reflections also lead to lots of happy results. Okay, future perils, second sutta. Dutiya Anāgatabhaya sutta. Can everybody read together?
Mendicants, being these five future perils is quite enough for a mendicant to meditate
Diligently, keenly and resolutely, attaining the unattained, achieving the unachieved,
and
and
realizing
realizing the unrealized. What
a mendicant
reflects, currently I am a youth,
young,
young, with pristine black hair, blessed with youth, in the prime of life. But there will come a time when this body is struck with old age. When you are old, overcome by old age, it's not easy to focus on the instructions of the Buddha. And it's not easy to frequent remote lodgings in the wilderness and the forest. Before that unlikable, undesirable, and disagreeable thing happens, I better prevent it by housing up energy for attaining the unattained, achieving the unachieved, and realizing the unrealized. That way, when it happens, I'll live comfortably, even though I am old. This is the first future peril. Is that beautiful? So don't think that everybody who gets old becomes sad. Don't think so. When you are young, if you practice this Dhamma well, practice generosity, collect merit, follow precepts, practice mindfulness, make an honest effort for cleansing the mind, contemplation on realizing the Four Noble Truths. If that is the path you follow, then the path, Dhamma path, make sure that even when you are old, you are happy. You don't feel regret. You don't feel remorseful. Isn't that a beautiful gift from the Dhamma? That's the only way. When people grow old, they can be happy. Otherwise, if we don't have Dhamma path, when we grow older and older, then we are left with disappointment, unsatisfactoriness. We think, oh, our kids are not with us now. Oh, we can't have fun like we used to do, right? And we are weak now. We cannot walk properly, right? It's thinking about all those negative things. That will be the end of life. And then because of that attachment to sense pleasures, like to the loved ones, properties, money, some people lose their mindfulness. They get like die with confused minds because they cannot bear leaving all those sense pleasures they were using for a long, long time to make their like to gratify their senses, and now they feel like they have to leave everything. No, they are not ready. How can we go? How can we leave our wealth? How can we leave our properties? How can we leave our family members? And then they cannot bear that. This is a future danger. Everybody should reflect on. And I heard like some people who work in those elder caregiving centers, senior homes, they come to us and they say, Bante, this is the real picture. You don't see it here. You have to go there. How people end their life, how they spend the time. Like engineers, doctors, people who lived luxurious lives. You can't imagine how they live the end of their life. And they explain to us. Completely uh, they are like crazy. Holding those toys, dolls. That's how they spend the time. Like kids. They don't know what they are doing. Have you seen?
Bingo.
Huh?
We go play bingo.
Yeah, completely.
I know. Fail everything.
Ah. Is that the way that human beings should end the life? But that's where this ordinary path leads. That's why Buddha teaches, if you want to live happily even when you are old, then practice Dhamma today, before old age destroys everything. Very powerful lessons, right? That's the first reflection, first future peril. And the second one?
Furthermore, a mendicant reflects, currently
I am really
ill or
on.
under.
My stomach digests well, being neither too hot nor too cold, but just right and fit for meditation. But there will come a time when this body is struck with sickness. When you are sick or overcome by sickness, it is not easy to focus on the instructions of the Buddha. And it's not easy to frequent remote lodgings in the wilderness and the forest. Before that, unlikable, undesirable, and undesirable thing happens.
I would better
Treat it by rousing up energy for attaining the unattained, achieving the unachieved, and realizing the unrealized. That way, when it happens, I'll live comfortably even though I'm sick.
This is the second future peril.
So don't think that everybody gets sick, live a miserable, sad life. No. Even when they are sick, the people who practice the Dhamma before, they can live happily. They can live comfortably among all those diseases, right? Because when they are healthy, they give priority to this practice, Dhamma path. And wise people think, this is a future peril, future danger that would come. So before that happens, I should work hard today to achieve wholesome qualities, to practice mindfulness, to practice meditation. because good health does not last long. Youth does not last long, right? They all change, go away soon. Some people, unfortunately, some people think, okay, I am young now, so the right time to take 8 precepts is when I am old. Some people think like that. I know that right, that wrong idea was in Sri Lanka. I don't know if they have still. Right. People think the right time to observe precept is when you finish all your jobs and you retire, and so you are free, and that's the time you should go to participate in retreat. Is that right?
No.
They're completely wrong. Here, according to the Buddha's instruction, you should not wait until that happens. It will be too late. Who knows? Then we have to leave empty-handed. So next time when your tricky minds ask you to stay home before joining a precept program, joining a retreat, joining deep Dhamma class, or joining any Dhamma program, then you can use these reflections and warn the mind. That's how you use these teachings practically. Third one.
Furthermore, American requests.
Currently there is plenty of
food,
a good harvest,
so
it is easy to get alms full, and easy to keep going by collecting alms. But there will come a time of pain, a bad harvest, when it's hard to get alms full, and not easy to keep going by collecting alms. In a time of famine, people move to where there is plenty of food, where they live crowded and cramped together. When you live crowded and cramped together, it's not easy to focus on the instructions from the Buddha. It is not easy to frequent remote lodgings in the wilderness, and before that unlikable, undesirable, and disagreeable thing happens. I better print it by housing up energy for attaining the unattained, achieving the unachieved, and realizing the unrealized. That way, when it happens, I will live comfortably, even though there is suffering. This is the third peril. That can happen too, right? Now today, now at present, you think, okay, we have lots of food, everything, but we shouldn't think this is permanent. If something happens, like people have that fear now, right? So some interruptions for the transportation and all these things. From time to time, people have to go through these unfortunate things. So
But nowadays, the medicals don't go from house to house collecting food anymore, right?
some monks
Where?
in Burma, Thailand, Sri Lanka,
Oh, they still do.
yeah, some monks do that. Yeah. And then Buddha teaches about the next reflection.
Furthermore, a medical reflects. Currently, people live in harmony, appreciating each other without quarreling, blending like milk and water, and regarding each other with kindly eyes. But there will come a time of peril due to turmoil in the world. So the country people are every close and free everywhere. In a time of peril, people go to where there is sanctuary.
where they live
crowded
crowded
and cramped together. When
When
you
you
live
live
crowded
crowded
and
and
cramped
cramped
together,
it's not easy to focus on the instructions of the Buddha. And it is not easy to frequent remote lodgings in the wilderness and the forest. Before that, unlikable, undesirable, and disagreeable thing happens. I'd better preempt it by rousing up energy for attaining the unattained, achieving the unachieved, and realizing the unknown. That way, when it happens, I'll live comfortably even at the time of death. This is the fourth. See that? This is very practical. So, like Buddha teaches, now you have peace in the area you live in the country or wherever, right? But don't think this is permanent. This is everlasting. Don't think like that. If you think like that, you are far away from the reality. This can change anytime, right? Turn into a war. So then, will you be able to practice the Dhamma with peace in mind like you do now? No, then everybody is running here and there, trying to save the lives, looking for hiding places. So Buddha, see how wise the Buddha is? Always seeing the truth of life. If that happens, it's not easy to follow the instructions of Buddha. So it's not easy to follow the path. You just need to give priority to you save your life, You're running here and there looking for some food. Haven't you seen that happen to people? So same thing can happen to us. So Buddha teaches you should think like that. So before that happens, if a war break out or something happens like that, conflict, uh, you know, who knows? Then situation completely changes. And so don't think that you have peace all the time. You can go and see the monks all the time. You can give dana. You can go to this stupa and worship. Don't think that you can do this every time, every day. This thing permanent. No. I mean, the truth is that these opportunities are very rare, and they will disappear anytime. So Buddha's lesson is, okay, use the opportunity now. Don't regret it later. That's the compassion of the enlightened one, right? Showing the reality, which many people forget about. And also people take things for granted. Yeah. When there are opportunities, if we take things for granted, and then when we lose them, then we are left with regret and remorse. But here Buddha asks all of us to wake up and think wisely before we lose these amazing opportunities. Okay, next one.
Furthermore, a mendicant reflects. Currently, the Sangha lives comfortably
In harmony, appreciating each other without quarreling, with one recitation. But there will come a time of schism in the Sangha.
When
There is schism in the Sangha. It's not easy to focus on the instructions of the Buddha. And it's not easy to frequent remote teaching the wilderness and the forest. Before that, unlikable, undesirable, and disagreeable things happen. I'd better frame it by arousing up energy for attaining the unattained, achieving the unachieved, and realizing that way when it happens, I will live comfortably, even though there is schism in the sun. This is the fifth vision. So Buddha teaches about the harmony, right? You can think now, I'm living in the community with my friends, with my relatives, okay, peacefully, in harmony, everybody helping each other. But this is not permanent. This can change anytime. friends become enemies, enemies become friends, right? This. But the danger is if friends become enemies, and people start attacking each other verbally, physically, then there wouldn't be a peaceful environment for anybody to practice the Dhamma. So if before that happens, when there is peace now, when there is harmony now in the community, I should use this opportunity. But they explains about everything, right? These are the 5 future perils Buddha teaches. Seeing which is quite enough for a mendicant to meditate diligently, keenly and resolutely, by attaining the unattained, achieving the unachieved, and realizing the unrealized. So the first one, Buddha taught
Old age.
about old age, right? Before old age reaches us, we should be diligent. And the second one is before
Yeah.
we get sick, we should be diligent. And the third one, before we
Scarcity of food.
yeah, when there is food, facilities, and all these things, we should make an effort to follow the path. And then, when people live in harmony, when there is peace in the environment, right? Before people start fighting, quarreling, one should make an effort. And why finally? Yeah.
Yes.
The other one is if they have to move to another place.
Yeah. Yeah, this one, when there is a fight or war, then people are running here and there, looking safe places to save their lives, right? So that time it's not easy to follow the Dhamma. Then we go to the third sutta, Tatiya Anāgatabhaya sutta. This is mainly like about monastics, but we can still learn. Here Buddha teaches, mendicants, these 5 future perils have not currently arisen, but they will arise in the future. You should look out for them and try to give them up. What 5? In a future time, there will be mendicants who have not developed their physical endurance, ethics, mind, and wisdom, like the monks, right? Monks who don't follow the path properly. And these monks will ordain others, but be unable to guide them in the higher ethics, that means precepts, meditation, and wisdom. They too will not develop their monk life. They too will ordain others, but be unable to guide them in a high training. They too will not develop their training. And that is how corrupt training comes from corrupt teachings, and corrupt teachings come from corrupt training. This is the first future peril that has not currently arisen, but will arise in the future. So Buddha teaches, if you see any signs of these dangers, you should try to remove these dangers from the community of the Sangha. So what is that danger? The monks who do not follow the training properly ordain others. So then they have students. And these students are also not well trained by the teachers, because teachers don't follow the path properly. And then the students don't know the path properly. And then the students become teachers again, and they ordain others, and they become students. And this keep going generations and generations. And when this keep happen, eventually the Dhamma disappears. Teachers don't know the Dhamma, students don't know the Dhamma. And the training is forgotten. This is a future danger. So if monks forget the training, forget the teachings, how can lay people know? Because monks are there to teach the lay people. And then the lay people also lack of faith, lack of virtue, lack of respect for the triple gem, and then they also miss the opportunity. So both communities lose the opportunity. Again, Buddha teaches, furthermore, in a future time, there will be mendicants, the monks, who have not developed the training. They will give dependence to others, but being unable to guide them. In the sense, so this is also a similar situation. This is Nissaya. That means the monks, again, training other monks with you know, Buddha again teaches, furthermore, in future time, there will be monks who have not developed the training. In discussion about the Dhamma and elaborations, they will fall into dark ideas without realizing what's the meaning.
Yeah.
Te abhavita kaya, samana abhavita sila, abhavita citta, abhavita panya, abhidhamma katang, vedalla katang, katenta, kanha dhamma, okkamana na bhujissanti. So here, abhidhamma kata, vedalla kata means the deep dhamma, and the questions and answers, discourses with those, when they are taught, they don't realize the meaning of it. So they misinterpret the teachings. And then that's how they miss the true Dhamma disappears. Again, Buddha teaches, in a future time there will be monks who have not followed the Dhamma path properly, and they follow these other ordinary worldly things. They focus more on learning those subjects, unnecessary things, and especially like the things followed by or learned by ordinary people. The monks also do the same thing. Learn those subjects, discuss about those things, and they forget about the Buddha's pure Dhamma, right? When discourses spoken by the Buddha, so those monks, when they listen to the teachings of, when the good monks teach the Dhamma, Buddha's teaching, which is deep, Buddha's teachings, deep, profound, transcendent, dealing with emptiness, and being recited, those monks who don't prioritize the Dhammapada, they don't want to listen to those teachings. They won't actively listen or try to understand, nor will they think those teachings are worth learning and memorizing. Right? They might say, oh, no, we don't need those teachings. Now is modern time, we need modern things. We don't need those deep things. We don't need those, no, they are outdated, Now we need to modernize these teachings. Yeah, and then pure Dhamma disappears. What they promote, but when discourses or the things composed by poets, poetry with fancy words and phrases composed by outsiders. Outsiders means the people who don't respect the Buddha. Are spoken by those disciples are being recited. When these ordinary subjects are taught, ordinary topics are spoken, these monks who are not following properly, they want to listen to those things. They appreciate those. They welcome those teachings, and they will think those teachings are worth learning and memorizing. And Buddha teaches that is how corrupt training comes from corrupt teachings come from corrupt training. That's the fourth future peril. Furthermore, Buddha teaches, furthermore, in the future time, there will be monks who have not developed their physical endurance, ethics, and mind and wisdom. They have not followed the Dhamma path properly. The senior monks will be indulgent and slack leaders in backsliding, neglecting seclusion, not rousing energy for attaining the unattained, achieving the unachieved, and realizing the unrealized. Right? So the senior monks who are not following the Dhamma path properly and who don't take this Four Noble Truths, Noble Eightfold Path seriously, and they focus on collecting things, gathering things, becoming rich, becoming wealthy, associating with politicians, doing politics and all these unnecessary things, right? They forget about realizing the Four Noble Truths. They forget about following the Noble Eightfold Path. Then what happens? Those who come after them, means they are student monks, will follow their example. And they also want to be like their teachers. And they also will do those same kind of things. That's what they see, that's what they hear. So they also think, okay, this is the monk life, this is the path, this is what our teachers did. And Buddha teaches that is how corrupt training comes from corrupt teaching comes from corrupt training. The fifth future peril that has not currently arisen but will arise in future, you should make an effort to remove these signs from the community. Right? You have another one? Future peril sport. What is that? Can you read it together?
When it comes to
You should look out for them and try to give them up. What for? In the future time, there will be mendicants who like nice robes. They will neglect the practice of wearing red robe and the practice of frequenting remote
in the wilderness
and forests. They'll come down to villages, towns, and capital cities and make their homes there. And they will try to get robes in many kinds of wrong and inappropriate. This is the first future problem that has not currently arisen, but will arise in future. Okay, so that's about monks desiring nice robes, and then nice alms food, like delicious food, and then nice lodgings, and then what's the next one? So those are the things, monks' possessions, right? So if Buddha teaches, if monks and nuns have craving for those things, they are going to decline. So and also with that craving, if they try to achieve those things, if they try to receive those delicious food and robes, lodging, all those things inappropriately, not in the allowable way, right? And that's a danger. And also they forget about seclusion, practicing mindfulness, living in remote forests, and this is a future peril, right? Then Buddha teaches, furthermore,
in the future time, there will be mendicants who mix closely with nuns, trainee nuns, and novice nuns. In such condition, it can be expected that they will lead a spiritual life dissatisfied, or
commit one of the corrupt offenses, or reject the learning and return to earnest.
This is the fourth future peril that has not currently arisen, but will arise in the future.
Okay, so the monks have unnecessary connections with nuns, right? And then that will be a danger, and they would live the celibate life dissatisfied. So they are brahmacharya, they are the path, their precepts are not making them happy, or they would break some major precepts, make powerful bad karma, or eventually the monks and nuns both, right, would reject the training and return to the lesser lust, means they disrobe. They disrobe, and that is another danger. With that, you should avoid those. And then
In the future time, there will be mendicants who mix closely with monastery attendants and novices. In such conditions, it can be expected that they will engage in storing up goods for their own use and making obvious hints about digging the earth and cutting plants. This is the fifth future peril that has not currently arisen, but will arise in the future.
So Buddha teaches about these even very subtle things, and that can be very lead to your decline and danger in the future. Some monks will start living closely with the lay people. Monastery attendants is lay people, closely lay people, and then
Novices?
yeah, that means not the ordained monks, right? So when you have unnecessary friendships, right, then that leads to decline, not the growth of the path. And then the monks and those lay people develop unnecessary friendship, and then that friendship doesn't help those monks to keep precepts well. So Buddha saw everything in advance and warned. These are warnings. Future perils are warnings, right? Yeah.
But if we have a little bit of Dharma knowledge, we can feel it. Oh, this corrupt teacher is teaching nonsense.
We can do what?
We can feel it. The corrupt teacher is
Not little Dhamma knowledge. You need a good Dhamma knowledge.
Yeah.
Otherwise difficult.
And also maybe the corrupt teacher is very charismatic, has psychic power,
Can be. Think about Devadatta. He was a teacher. He has many students. He even had psychic powers before, right? And many people, even lay people, some monks, believe that Devadatta was a good teacher. But where did he go after that? He went to hell.
Bhante mentioned in the sutta, it mentioned received the robe inappropriately. Is it not the appropriate time? Bhante?
No, not the time. Inappropriate ways. That means breaking precepts, unsuitable ways. To gather things for the monk life.
Gather robes and names.
Monks are not that's the thing. Lay people should know about those things. Monks are not allowed to what do you say? Not appreciate things when they were given to them. But nowadays, people want to hear the appreciation. Otherwise, they think the monks are angry at them if monks don't appreciate. So they offer delicious food and they ask, Bhante, how is the food? And they want the monks to appreciate. If monks are silent, lay people think Bhantes are sad. Maybe food is not good. Doesn't like it.
That's like me.
Oh, Bhantes are angry at us. But, see that?
I had been invited from other people that said, no. You have to have variety and
You know why? Because there is another bad thing very close to that. What is a bad thing? Buddha teaches with craving inside to receive more, bad monks appreciate lay people. Okay, so when you offer something, some food, that monk who is having evil thoughts in the mind, with the evil intentions, can appreciate it, expecting that, thinking that, okay, if I appreciate, they will bring that next time too. So that's an evil wish that can arise in anybody's mind, right? So let's say if a monk has that evil wish, what they want to do, what they would do is they think, wow, what you offered today, so delicious, so good.
Give a hint, Bhante.
You give a hint, and then the layperson thinks, okay, that means I should offer this next time too. And then the monks are not supposed to do like that. That's why monks are encouraged to practice silence.
But we usually see if Bhante is a lie.
Eh?
By the-
Now what happened? These people changed the monks. These people changed the monks. The people forced the monks to appreciate what they offer. Huh? Yeah.
But Bhante, sometimes when we offer food, we want to make sure that it's suitable for the Bhante. Because some food, like let's say I cook Chinese.
How can you say that? When people in India, when monks were going on alms round, Pindapata, some poor people, homeless people, they offered like rotten food into the bowl. They didn't want to ask anything. They didn't want any response from the monks. They just had this happy, delightful mind, thinking that I offered something to these worthy of offerings, worthy of gifts, these monks, the Sangha of the Buddha. And then they went to heaven after that. Lay people's mindset also has to change.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be based on these material things.
Being appreciated, not appreciated for the food, but not attached to it. Like what is given, then it's safe.
That's why lay people also need lots of Dhamma knowledge,
Yes.
not little Dhamma knowledge. It's a very well explained Dhamma. Yeah, very well explained monastic rules. Swakhato Bhagavata Dhamma. Very well taught, well explained. And it is going against the stream. And in the Buddha's time, some monks, they were triple robe wearers, bright robe wearers, forest dwellers. They practiced those kind of austere practices. And they just had the triple robes for the entire life and a bowl. That's all they had. In the Buddha's time, they didn't even take a water bottle with them. They didn't save anything for them for future usage. That's why you see when Buddha was walking towards the Kushinagar for the final passing away, Buddha was thirsty on the way. Nobody had water to offer to the Buddha. Because that's different life. Lay people are the ones who store things up, who keep things for future usage. Monk life is different. So those monks who were following those austere practices, they were satisfied with those 3 robes and a bowl, and they were going on arms round to find some food. And some kings and ministers, they came up to them and asked, and they brought some gifts and wanted to offer those monks the new robes. And the monk would say, "No, I don't need anything. I have my triple robe completed." So they don't accept. Nowadays, if you say I don't need, people get angry. Why? Did somebody tell something about me? You don't accept my gifts? Yeah, so that's different, right? Yes. Some people are good, okay? Not all the people. Don't misunderstand. Okay, Harry. Some people are very good, very knowledgeable. Just lessons for everybody.
Yes, Bante. But well, because lay people couldn't understand, but then sometimes they misinterpret. They may thought that the monk, you know, is not friendly,
Yeah.
not smiling, not
Yeah.
appreciative, or arrogant, conceited. No, so it's a wrong interpretation. But this sutta is very clear, very nice. Give us an insight that as a layperson, how do we have to respond and to appreciate? Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you, Bante.
Sadhu.
Sadhu.
So today we collected lots of merit by going for irreproducible gem, observing precepts, practicing meditation, learning the amazing teachings of the Buddha, reading the words of the Buddha, and sharing the Dhamma. We share all the merit with our teacher, Lokuswami Nanse.
Sadhu.
Sadhu. We share all the merit with monks and nuns in the world.
Sadhu.
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 We share all the merit with devas.
Sadhu. Sadhu.
We share merit with all the departed relatives, our parents, teachers, family members, with all the friends, with all beings in the world. May all beings enjoy good health, long life, happiness, and peace. May all beings be able to live happily, without anger, without hatred. May all beings attain true happiness in life.
Sadhu. 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 Our Sare Bhante,
Okay.
many merit for beautiful sutta. Allow us to share merit with Bhante and ask for forgiveness.
Shukhi.
Okasa
Shukhi.
Maya katang punyang samina anumodita.
Sadhu.
Samina katang punyang may hangdata.
Sadhu.
Sadhu anumodita. Okasa dorantina. Atang sabang arjaya.
Amam Kanto.
Okasa anumodita Bhante.
Sukhi Honto. Abhivadana Silisa Nichang Vadha Vachayino. Chattaro Dhamma Vadanti Ayuvano Sukham Balang Ayuraro Visampatti Sagga Sampatti Mivache Ato Nibbana Sampatti Minate Samijata. Sipal Jem bless you all.
Thank you. Namo
Thank you,
Buddhaya
Bante.
Bhante.
Thank you, Bante.
Namo
you.
Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.